2 years after its release, this little keyboard still delights me. Okay, let's revisit, shall we, the Yamaha CK61. For those of you who don't know, it does have a big brother as well, called the CK88, which is a full-length 88 note with weighted keys. Now, I've done an in-depth video on this on CK88, which you might see, but let's talk about it, shall we? Because what we've got here is an excellent creative tool for a keyboardist in a group. Have a look over the front of it. I love the very tactile nature of the sliders and the buttons on here as well. Everything makes a wonderful click or a little notchy feel. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, when you turn around a slider, you get this wonderful notchy feel. And the way that you can save your settings in these live set buttons as well is very simple and easy to use. Now let's try some of these other sounds, shall we? Everything you do on this keyboard, it takes you down avenues of creativity and inspiration, which is one of the reasons I keep coming back to this keyboard. And what I found is even on the presets, where there are some pre-made sound sandwiches, you can have loads of fun. This one I'm on here is called, it doesn't have a name, it's just called Section 10, and we've got various different settings, ambient piano. That was the one I used to start with, and it's a very subtle mix of 3 different layers here. You can see piano, and there is also a pad on there, but there's some echo effects in there, and the attack and the cutoff has been changed as well, so you get this lovely delayed string sound. And everything you do with this piano just gets you in a mode of creativity. It seems sometimes I can touch a setting on here and I play just a note or two, and suddenly I'm thinking, oh, movie soundtrack or Netflix series soundtrack, or this has got to be the fantastic beginning to my next song, or the band will love this sound because it will transform the tune that we're playing. That's what it does. It really fires up some inspiration in you. Let's try this one called Tricky Piano. So what we're hearing here is a little bit of that tremolo and delay that's on the presets here. I can do it all manually if I want to, but this one has it preloaded. This one is called 80s CP. Immediately I'm playing that and I can just see the intro of a 1980s cop movie or TV series. So all sorts of creativity this thing fires up, and the little CK61 incidentally is battery powered and it's very lightweight. The speakers built into it, they're not really designed, as I explained in a previous video, for performing with, although they are pointed that way towards an audience rather than you towards the player. So they're okay for small venues, but I'm thinking practices, impromptu jams and stuff like that, those speakers are great for, but the design of it is that it really assumes you're going to go through a PA system or into a computer. But huge selection of sounds. What I'm showing you at the minute are the preset ones, but the real beauty of this instrument is the fact that you can make up your own blends. You really can do it from scratch. And the way you do that on here, and the way I do this when I'm enjoying myself on this particular instrument, is I'd go into a voice number one. If you think of this section here as your main layering system, and number one I'm going to choose as, let's go with one of these pianos, because you just go into the piano category here and you've got loads and loads to dive into. The deepest and richest one I found is the CFX stereo just there, and this is the one that gives us that beautiful but there are other ones, and if I turn the dial around feeling those wonderful notches as I go, there's a different model of upright piano, of grand piano, called an S700. Which I like, but my favourite at the moment is an upright piano called the U1, modelled from Yamaha's famous U1 series. Listen to this one. Okay, and it's quite characterful. I like it. It's good if you're playing sort of pretty stabby notes on the piano. It gives it a bit of character. But let's go into making this a little bit more of my signature sound. And what I'm going to do is go over to our selection of effects and DSP and reverb, and I can really just make this how I want it. So I'm going to start off with a bit of echo or delay. So I'll go into this effects section just here, and I'm going to find one by switching it on there and going through the type, and you'll be able to see there's a fairly small graphic display on here, but it doesn't really matter. It's enough. It's enough to just give you an idea of what it's giving you. And I'm going to go through until I find digital analog delay. Okay, so you hear that? We've got a bit of a John Lennon-esque . Okay, and I might like a little bit more reverb, so I've got that effect layered. I'm now going to go on and add another layer of effect. This time I'm going to go through until I found the, where is it, the reverb. Oh, hang on, what's reverse reverb? Let's try that. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of giving me a backwards reverb. Let's try the other one, room reverb. A bit too much, so I want to bring the depth down. Yeah, and I'm liking that. So I've got my piano, my upright piano, bit of reverb, a little bit of analog delay. Now let's go on to layer B here. And so I want something to kind of sit underneath that piano and just give it a subtle boost while I'm playing. And a good thing to do that with is a synth pad. And bear in mind you've got these sliders here as well, where you can affect the balance very quickly. Again, tactile, it's there, it's right above the voice. And the buttons are coloured. So yellow is our main one, blue is our main layer, and I can set the volume how I like it. So let's go and flick through this list of pads and try a few, shall we? Let's try ambient pad. Okay, so that's got a bit of motion on it as well. So I play and then the sound will swell up. I'm not sure that's quite suitable for what I want though, so I'm going to go in. Let's try this one called Goblins. That works all right, but I want something that's not so active in its swell. So soundtrack, echo, analog pad. That's the one I want, okay? But I am going to bring the volume of it, the level of it. See the display when I'm doing this? Bringing it down slightly. Okay, and this is where the real fun is in this keyboard, is you can start doing these things, blend them as you want, mix the levels, try different combinations, and all the time as the keyboardist it's coming back to you, it's feeding back on this inspiration loop, if you will, and that's what I love about it. And we still haven't really got into the full depth of the effects that we have on here as well. I might go into the third layer now, and something that I quite like is to put on a little bit of chromatic percussion as well, because it just gives those piano notes a little bit more bite if you choose something like one of these ones. I think in the past the xylophone is quite a good one. Oh, chromatic, I'm in the wrong one. Here we are. The vibraphone works quite nice, but I might soften the vibraphone slightly by going into it. You see how the other effects now have gone green. This is referring to just my third layer, all in green. So I'm going to take the edge off of that slightly by going to the attack. And we could isolate it. That'll do it. So it's not quite so toothy now. Put the other layers back in. And you can hear what that's doing. It's subtle, but it's just giving that piano note an extra little bit of bite without taking away from the character of the piano. And again, I'm inspired to play. I change my tempo, I change the atmosphere, everything. Just inputting a few notes from this keyboard, this inspiration loop is happening, and it's really making me want to create something for, let's say, you know, a sci-fi movie soundtrack, or a really emotional character study type movie that might have a soundtrack like this. Okay, so little CK61, that's what this keyboard is all about, is drawing out your inspiration, working with you as a creative player, and allowing you this incredible selection of effects and voices and all sorts in a very compact little package that's quite affordable, battery powered as well, so you can pick it up and move it around. It's a tough little thing as well. Now, I actually own its bigger brother, CK88, and I've had it at home with 2 kids under 10, rather than out on the road, because that kind of thing, you know, comes to a halt when you've got 2 kids under 10. But I've been happy to let kids play with it because it's tough and it's robust, and they twiddle the knobs and move the sliders, bash the buttons, and the thing just survives, and that's really impressive. It's a mark of roadworthiness. It's a road testing, if you will, of another sort. But I had to mention that because they really are, like most Yamaha instruments, built to last. So even though I've owned one of these for a couple of years now, I keep coming back to them, and that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, is even 2 years after release, they're still doing the job of bringing me a lot of pleasure and inspiring stuff from me. So if you're checking out your first keyboard here, or, you know, for stage use or home use, then the CK series is definitely worth a look. Just a reminder, the key mechanisms, we don't have weighted keys on CK61. It's more of a keyboard style soft key, but this does have its advantages because of course it means that it's a lot lighter. The 88 note one actually has hammers on the inside, which increases the weight. In my opinion, I prefer weighted keys because I have a piano playing background. However, I've got to say that for non-weighted keys, the CK61 is actually very good. I don't feel like I'm fluffing notes because the weighted keys on its big brother are quite forgiving, as are all weighted keys. You get a microsecond where you can adjust a bum note, and non-weighted keys don't tend to give you that, but this isn't too bad. I like this key bed. I've managed to you know, play without too many fluffed notes, without requiring absolute accuracy as some keyboards need you to give. So don't be too put off by the fact that it doesn't have weighted keys. I still think it's a fab little keyboard. So what else? Good for gigging players, home musicians. It's portable. Yeah. So in 2 years from its release, it's still an excellent keyboard to go for. I'd highly recommend having a watch of my CK88 video that I did a couple of years ago, because I go a little bit deeper into what it can do and how it can inspire you. If this has been a useful video for you, press the thumbs up below, because it really helps an independent store like us get found here on YouTube. I'm just going to do some playing, and then the editor of this video will slowly fade it out whenever it starts to get boring and repetitive.